Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your man B. I am the brand once again. And I just want to rap to y'all real quick. I keep seeing this video and this meme of, Hitler and how he believed we were the saviors of America. We would bring on World War III. On his deathbed, he said to a mystery soldier who heard from another mystery soldier about how the black people of America were the true Hebrews and stuff like that. Listen to this.
Let's look at Hitler's confession. Hitler said even in his death he would start World War III. One of his soldiers asked how. Hitler replied, "The day mankind finds out what I was trying to defend this nation Germany from, then that's the day World War III will start. For on that day, mankind will learn that I was trying to save my nation from the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and the Jews. For if the Americans wins the war, then they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews, and they will try to conquer God. Do you know who America has in its possession?" "No," the soldier replied. "America has the jewels of God. The Americans have stolen God's precious jewels." "What do you mean his precious jewels?" the soldier asked. Hitler said, "America has stolen the Jews of God, his jewelry, the Negroes. They are the true Hebrews." Hitler tried to kill all those people because he knew they weren't really the Jews. Hitler even knows the Jews are black. All right, let's look.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy. And my thing is, we need to start, taking into consideration what these people actually said and wrote and their actions than, hearsay from a mystery soldier who's heard from another mystery soldier about what Hitler said on his deathbed and stuff like that. That's crazy, but we do have his actual, words, his actual thoughts, and it's in this book right here, Mein Kampf by Adolph Hitler. This is, I bought this book simply because, like you, I was fascinated about how this man was actually able to, take over Europe at that time and kill all these people, in the 20th century when stuff like that wasn't supposed to be going on. Mind you, you had King Leopold in the Congo, and you had other such genocides going on. Australia, their genocide going on, and Tasmania, places like that. But, for you to see it happen to white people when white people are the ones who supposedly, conquered the world, that's what I think makes it so fascinating to a lot of people. But yeah, we're gonna read straight from the book, and I just got a few excerpts because he goes in this book about race, purity, how he feels about black people, Jews, and other races and stuff like that. He goes all the way in, so we're gonna check it out. We're gonna see his real quotes. Let's go. So in this quote, he says, "No more than nature desires the mating of weaker with stronger individuals, even less does she desire the blending of a higher with a lower race, since if she did, her whole work of higher breeding over perhaps hundreds of thousands of years might be ruined with one blow." He says, "Historical experience offers countless proofs of this. It shows with terrifying clarity that in every mingling of Aryan blood with that of lower races, the result was the end of the cultured people." See, he doesn't believe that, indigenous people outside of Europe are cultured, straight up. He says, "The Germanic inhabitants of the American continent who has remained racially pure and unmixed, rose to be masters of the continent. He will remain the master as long as he does not fall a victim to defilement of the blood. The result of all racial crossing is therefore, in brief, always the following: lowering of the level of the higher races and physical and intellectual regression and hence the beginning of a slowly but surely progressing sickness. Oh, then he goes on to say, to bring about such a development is then nothing else but to sin against the will of the eternal creator. So, he, like, his philosophy involves a lot of eugenics. It involved, religion. He brings religion in it. That's how he was able to really, trigger a lot of people, because he uses a lot of religion in this to, rationalize and justify his thoughts. That it goes in. Like, he took eugenics and took it, from 0 to 100 pretty much. Every racial crossing leads inevitably sooner or later to the decline of the hybrid product, as long as the higher element of this crossing is itself still existence in any kind of racial unity. So I'm giving you a lot of the basics of what he gets into. He says, how boundlessly unideal and ignoble is the whole system. People no longer bother to breed the best for posterity, but let things slide along as best they can. If our churches also sin against the images of the Lord, whose importance they still so highly emphasize, it is entirely because of the line of their present activity, which speaks always of the spirit and lets its bearer, the man, degenerate into a depraved proletarian. He goes in. He says, afterward, of course, they make foolish faces and are full of amazement at the small effect of the Christian faith in their own country, at the terrible godlessness, at this physical botched and hence spiritually degenerate rabble, and try with the church's blessing to make up for it by success with the Hottentots and Zulu Kafirs. While all European people, thank the Lord, fall into a condition of physical and moral leprosy. The pious missionary wanders off to Central Africa and sets up Negro missions until there too our higher culture turns healthy, though primitive and inferior human beings into a rotten brood of bastards. Like, this is when he goes on and talks about like how he feels about Jews and how he feels about, them spreading the ideal of equality and liberal ideas and stuff like that. How he feels about them, training, people who are outside of the European race to be in higher positions. He doesn't like it. He doesn't appreciate it at all. He says, the boundless sin of present-day humanity in the direction may be shown by one more example. From time to time, illustrated papers bring it to the attention of the German petty bourgeois that someplace or other a Negro for the first time becomes a lawyer, teacher, even a pastor. In fact, in a heroic tenor or something of the sort. While the idiotic bourgeois looks with amazement at such miracles of education, full of respect for the marvelous result of modern educational skill, the Jew shrewdly draws from it a new proof for the boundless. The Jew shrewdly draws from it a new proof for the soundness of his theory about the equality of men that he is trying to funnel into the minds of the nation. Yeah. It doesn't dawn on his depraved bourgeois world that this is positively a sin against all reason, that it is criminal lunacy to keep on drilling a born half ape until people think they have made a lawyer out of him, while millions of members of the highest cultural race remain in entirely unworthy positions. He goes on to say that it is a sin against the will of the eternal creator if his most gifted beings by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands are allowed to degenerate in the present proletarian morass, while Hottentots and Zulu Kafirs are trained for intellectual professions. Now, Zulu Kafirs And Hottentots are derogatory terms, you know what I'm saying, for a particular set of Africans. You know, it's really derogatory for South Africans. The word Kaffir is akin to the word nigger, except they don't use it at all, right? Like, you can get arrested, you know, by using the word, you know, Kaffir in South Africa. So that's how serious that is. And he just going in with this word. Like, it's crazy. So in this part, he talks about like subjects and citizens and stuff like that. And, you know, he pretty much has an issue with, you know, the idea that you can become a citizen just by, you know, giving birth on a particular in a particular nation. So your kid can become a citizen of Germany if you were in Germany and you gave birth to your kid in Germany. Your kid is automatically a German citizen. He has a problem with this because he feel like it degenerates the country pretty much. So he doesn't want, you know, anybody who is outside of the Germanic race to be citizens, but yet he wants them to be subjects, you know. So listen to this. This is when he just talks about how he gets mad about it. Today, the right of citizenship, as mentioned above, is primarily achieved by birth within the borders of a state. In this, race or nationality play no role whatever. A Negro who formerly lived in the German protectorate and now has his residence in Germany gives birth to a German citizen in the person of his child. So he's upset at this because he believes that because of this happening, that people who are non-German will end up ruling over him and in turn degenerate in his society. So, like, all of this is based off of the insecurity of how he felt, you know, Germany was pretty much embarrassed after World War I. You know, after that, he became really insecure about, you know, the German nation. He failed in life as far as an artist and stuff like that. So he was really, you know, upset when he went to Vienna and he failed, and he saw how diverse it was. He saw how, you know, how many Jewish people were thriving in Vienna. And so he looked at that and pretty much blamed all of that on his own, you know, for his own failures. So that's where a lot of this came about. See, he says the focus state divides the inhabitants into three classes: citizens, subjects, and foreigners. Listen to this. And so, pretty much, like I said, he's insecure about this. If you're not a citizen of Germany, then you can't, you know, hold any public office or anything. He doesn't want any foreigners ruling over him politically. He says the subject is acquired by birth. The status of subject as such does not confer the rights of hold public office, nor to carry on political activities in the sense of active or passive participation in elections. You can't even vote. As a matter of principle, the race and nationality of every subject must be determined. The subject is free at any time to renounce his status of subject and become a citizen in the country whose nationality corresponds to his own. The foreigner is distinguished from the subject only by the fact that he is a subject of a foreign state. So pretty much, if you're not white, then you're not becoming a citizen. He pretty much says it is immoral and against God for people to, you know, give birth to people who are disabled, or for disabled people to carry on their genes. So therefore, he suggests a program to stop that immediately upon, you know, creating his focused state. So therefore, you know, that's talking about sterilization and, you know, and castration and stuff like that. during Nazi Germany, black Germans, a lot of them faced sterilization at that time because he just didn't want us to multiply in Germany. So check this out. Bear in mind the devastation which Jewish bastardization visits on our nation each day, and consider that this blood poisoning can be removed from our national body only after centuries, if at all. Consider further how racial disintegration drags down and often destroys the last Aryan values of our German people, so that our strength as a culture-bearing nation is visibly more and more involved in a regression, and we run the risk, in our big cities at least, of reaching the point where southern Italy is today. Yeah, he he doesn't appreciate it. He doesn't appreciate it at all. See, and this is a funny part too right here, because like he's criticizing France right here because of all of the integration that France was having at that time. But peep this though. Only in France does there exist today more than ever an unanimity between the intentions of the Jew-controlled stock exchange and the desire of the chauvinist-minded national statesmen. This people, which is basically becoming more and more niggerfied, constitutes with the aims of Jewish world domination and enduring danger for the existence of the white race in Europe. For the contamination of Negro blood on the Rhine and the heart of Europe is just as much in keeping with the perverted sadistic thirst for vengeance of this hereditary enemy of our people as is the ice-cold calculation of the Jew, thus to begin bastardizing the European continent at its core and to deprive the white race of the foundation for a sovereign existence through infection with lower humanity. Like, he goes in, young. I'm telling you, man, this dude was not for us. Him continuing on France. Not only that, she complements her army to an ever-increasing degree from her enormous empire's reservoir of colored humanity, but racially as well, she is making such great progress in nigrification that we can actually speak of an African state arising on European soil. The colonial policy of present-day France cannot be compared with that of Germany in the past. If that development of France in the present style were to be continued for 300 years, the last remnants of Frankish blood will be submerged in the developing European African mulatto state, an immense self-contained area of settlement from the Rhine to the Congo, filled with the lower race gradually produced from continuous bastardization. So, all in all, this guy was not our ally. He was not fighting for us for America. He did not care about World War III, bring about World War III to save the American Negro. None of that. You know what I'm saying? He hated black people. He hated Jews. He hated liberals. You know what I'm saying? And then when you read this book, a lot of stuff get highlighted as far as what goes on in politics today, what goes on even in the United States and in Europe. A lot of his ideals are still, internalized in our politics. A lot of his ideals are still internalized in our society. And for instance, being so much against CRT, critical race theory, that's a problem right now. And as you can see, this is taking that out of schools will stop people from being able to study stuff like this to prevent it from happening again. The anti-woke bill, like, what is that about? That's insecurity. You don't want to be reminded of how race has taken a big has become a big part of our system. It's crazy. Like, just like he wanted to divide, his country by race, You know, that's how we divide our country, by race. You know what I'm saying? That's how we look at things in our country through a racial point of view. And it's crazy because when you go around the world, a lot of people don't even think about race like that. It's not even on the front of their minds. But America, it is. You know, I mean, just look around you. My thing is, if we're gonna be woke, if we're gonna be conscious, if we're gonna do some actual scholarship, we have to, you know, check the direct sources before we listen to any tertiary source or any secondary source. Go to the direct source. You know what I'm saying? Go to and hear his words first, read his words, or, you know, listen to what he spoke. You know, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? And talk to or read the works of the people who were around him at that time, or the people who, you know, study him at that time, his enemies at that time, you know, his allies at that time. That's what, you know, real research is about. Before you even consider anything about, you know, coming from, you know, me from YouTube, or, you know, anybody else with memes and stuff like that. You know, it's about doing real scholarship, you know, and not meme scholarship. I just like to bounce, you know, just like to bounce that to y'all, you know, and give y'all that information, because we definitely need to do better when it comes to, you know, doing our research and being conscious and being woke. You know, we can't be going around, you know, thinking these crazy ideas when it's plentiful evidence that says otherwise, that's contrary to those ideas. We got to think logically and rationally, you know, and do scholarly, proper research. But I ain't gonna wrap y'all up too much longer. It's your man B. I am the Brandon. I'm out. Peace.